Okay, so I'm gonna go live now. I always need to read this, but the screen is so far. Okay, so we are live. I see people online. I'm just
there's people already showing up.
Yes.
Awesome.
So good morning, good afternoon, good night. I don't know where is everyone, but we'll start in just a bit. I'm gonna just wait one more minute just to make sure we are all online.
Yeah, they're pouring in.
Yes.
We're gonna have to put on a good show. I'll have to be a good guest.
Yes, I think it will be perfect. So I think I'm gonna start with the presentation already. So welcome everybody, I'm Sophia, community manager and host of Wake Up by Galaxy. And just for people who just joined this first episode, Galaxy is an automation tool for LinkedIn and cold email. And Wake Up is just another channel we use to invite guests to talk and share about their experiences, strategy, and everything we need to learn about cold email and lead generation on B2B LinkedIn. So just a couple of announcements before we start. You can follow Ed Forto on LinkedIn. You can follow Galaxy or myself on LinkedIn too. We have a YouTube channel. You can subscribe to the channel. We usually go live via Zoom, our channel, or our community, Facebook community. You can type Wallians on Facebook and you will find the international community and the French community. The replay will be shared at the end of the presentation, or you can find it on our YouTube channel also. And we have a Q&A section where you will be able to share your questions for Ted. If anyone has any question related to Galaxy, we will leave this for the chat support, okay? I'm also in the chat support, or you can share them on the Facebook community. So, as we're in an international community, I would love to know where you're from. I can see you're from Germany, Chile, okay, Wisconsin. I'm from Mexico, I'm based in France. And our guest is in the USA, his name is Ed. And this afternoon or good morning, we will be speaking about cold email and LinkedIn. Okay, Ed, do you want to introduce yourself? One thing before we start. Okay, so the episode is about cold email and LinkedIn. At the end of the presentation, he will share a strategy he uses beside this strategy to get more sales. So stay at the end of the presentation to know more about it. So sure, Ed, please jump in. Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Sophia. It's been a pleasure to work with you up to this point. We finally got to do the show. So thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate it. I'm Ed Forto. I am the co-founder of Email Open Rate Optimization. And what we do is we work with clients that do cold email for outreach and clients that also have subscription email to get more of their emails delivered, seen, read, and clicked. And we really help with people that are having email deliverability problems. Either the emails are going to spam or they're going to the promotional inbox. If you're doing cold email, if they're going to the promotional inbox, it might as well be going to spam. So we help you with that. And then we help you with messaging so that you can get more people to click your email, either click to go to an article or something, or click to hit reply to set a meeting.
Okay, good. So I just want to share you a bit of where our audience is. We have people from France, Poland, London, India, the US, Belgium. So it's a pretty international audience. It's super cool. Okay, so why don't we start just telling the difference between cold email? Oh, we have Vietnam, Vienna. Nice.
All right.
Yes, it's being recorded and we will share the replay to the same email you register in the registration form. So can you tell us first, just to start, the difference between cold email and marketing email, just to have this for sure that everyone knows about this difference before we start?
Sure. Yeah, and I mentioned one other thing about us is that our team has over 29 years of experience in email deliverability. We've worked with, I want to say like 12,000 plus clients. Okay. We've just worked with a lot of different people. So we have a lot of practice in seeing what to do and what not to do. So the first question was subscription email versus cold email. What's the difference?
Yes.
A lot of times people say, The reason why it's usually the length is the difference. Like for a subscription email, people tend to write longer emails, story type emails, whereas a cold email, you try to get right to the point. It's a length of 75 words or less, ideally. 35 words, even better. The shorter, the better. The whole idea is to get them to click, reply, and reply back to you. And that's all you're trying to do. I do have an issue with people that feel like they may say, well, how long should an email be for subscription email? And they'll say like it should be as long as it needs to be. And that's not quite true, because when you're looking at cold email, you're thinking in terms of shorter emails because we're dealing with busy people. Well, somebody, a mom blogger once told us, everybody's busy. I go, well, it's true. So do you really want to waste somebody's time with a long email in subscription email? And in those, what we do is we try to compress those to under 300 words, 250 words. If we can get them down to 75 words, even better. So really the difference between the two, most of the time, is length.
Okay. But also I know that the cold email is to look for clients, and the the marketing email is just someone who subscribed to your blog or your website to get more information. So they don't know, people who receive the cold email doesn't even know you exist yet.
That's true. They don't. Okay? They don't know you from Adam.
So both the focus is super different from both of them. Like you will use another language, another content to both, right? Yeah, well,
I think you should always approach people as if it's almost the first time that you're reaching out to them. Don't assume just because they subscribe to your list that they remember who you are. Somebody could subscribe and then 5 minutes later forget, why am I getting this email for this person? I don't remember subscribing.
Actually, it's true. We receive a lot of emails like, why am I receiving these kind of emails? And I'm like, you registered to the website.
Right. Yeah. Just like 10 minutes ago, you opted in. Here's a screenshot.
Okay.
but they forget. Yeah, with cold email, one of the other things that people try to do in both forms of email is try to sell in the email. Like email, the job of email is not to sell. The job of email is to move them to the next step in the process. The next step may be to set an appointment. The next step may be send them to an information article that frames your authority. Like, this is the problem that you solve. Here's a problem that a lot of people have similar to them. This is how it's solved. We solve that problem. This is how we do it. If you're doing subscription email, you're sending them to a sales page, a VSL, maybe a blog page, or if you're e-commerce, you're sending them to a product or something like that. But the whole idea in both sets is you're trying to sell somebody something. Hopefully you don't have a newsletter and you're just chatting and you've got nothing to sell. It's an expense, it's a hobby. If you're doing it as a business, you're trying to sell something.
Okay, good. Now that we set up the difference, do you want to start sharing your presentation?
I can do that, indeed.
Good. I will read these questions at the end. Well, in the half of the presentation, I will read the questions for Ed, okay? So you can start leaving them on the chat and I will read them in a bit.
So we have a process of using LinkedIn and email. And the reason why we use the combination is because the combination works so well. It's a matter of getting on the person's radar. They know who you are, and then you're sending an email. For example, if you're sending cold email, usually in a cold email sequence, when we're working with clients, they'll tell us, well, I have an 80% open rate for my cold email. And I go, is that per email or is that for the sequence? And they'll say, well, it's for the sequence. And I go, how many emails do you have in your sequence? Let's say on a low end, they have 5. So let's say 4. Let's say it's 4, and which is normally not the case. So on average, their open rate is 20% per email. And they'd agree, yeah, they know math. Here's the problem. When we talk to email deliverability managers for the different email service providers, they tell us that they want to see an average 30% open rate. And the reason why they want to see an average 30% open rate is because the mailbox providers, providers, Outlook, Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, want to see an average open rate of 30%. If they don't see that average open rate of 30% from a specific domain, you're going to see more of those emails going into the promotional tab. Eventually, they'll end up in the spam folder, which will hurt your domain reputation, which means now your open rate for all your emails are going to be a lot lower because the mailbox providers are going to suppress your emails. That hurts the ESP, email service provider, because it affects all of their customers. So they want to see you, on average, have a 30% open rate. It's really hard to get that with cold email, unless the person knows who you are. When we're doing subscription email, our average open rate is about 57%. And for each single email we send, it goes up as high as 94% open rate, and low is in the low 40s. Alarms go off if we're below 40%. And so what we do is we apply what we've learned in subscription email to maintain high open rates and high click-through rates, and applied it to cold email. And we do that by adding LinkedIn. So you want to use LinkedIn to kind of warm up the prospects, get them to know who you are. Then you move them over to a kind of a subscription email model, which is just a follow-up model. But because they know who you are, we've done a little bit of work to get on the radar. The open rates tend to be much higher. Average open rate over 30%.
Okay, so you say that if you start having an exchange of emails with them, you will start going from the spam folder or the promotion folder to the main inbox. Is it right?
Yeah, and that's mainly that's going to happen if you're consistently under that 30% open rate. And we see that all the time with people who are doing cold email. And I mentioned a 4 email sequence. Usually people have 6, even 8 email sequences. I try to get them to take it down to 3. If we're trying to sell somebody right then, and after those 3, then we're going to expand that out, and I'll talk a little bit more about then the nurture sequence that happens after that. So we see if we can try to sell them right now. Are they open to be sold? Are they in a position where they're looking to buy what you have to sell now? Then we're going to go into a short sales sequence. Otherwise, we're going to go into a nurture sequence. And the other reason for that is you have to wait for the window to open for someone to buy. If that window is not open, if they don't have a problem right now, there's no reason to start selling them. We want people to know us, to see us as an authority, and to like us.
So I guess, sorry, you will have to divide your leads into warm, cold, warm, and hot leads, right?
Yes.
To use a different sequence for each other, for each of these different segments.
Right. Okay. And so if you start selling too early, you're going to alienate that person, and they're never going to like you. And if they don't like you, they're not going to buy from you, even if you have the perfect solution to their problem. They'll go find somebody else. So the whole process is really designed to get to establish your authority, get them to know you, get them to like you. And sales can happen pretty fast if those 3 things are in line and they have a need for what you have to sell right now. So there we go. So there are several steps to this process. And at the end, I'm going to show you how I can shortcut some of these steps and most of these steps and get the same result. We have a funnel that we put people in at the top of the funnel. And at the end of the funnel, what we've done or along the way is we're pre-qualifying people. We're not trying to sell them in the funnel. We're trying to determine who can we do business with. So it's kind of a reverse funnel. We're kicking people out of our funnel as we go down to the bottom. And then if we do that, our closing rate is much higher, 80% or higher. So the first thing that we do is establish your authority by fixing your profile. We want your profile to be clean. You can go to my profile and have a look at it. I'm always updating it, but the top 2 things on my profile are designed to, if when people go to that profile, they can look at it, know exactly what problems I solve. They can also see that I am an authority in solving that problem. And they can make a decision in their mind, is this somebody I want to work with or not? They're being pre-sold based on my profile. And Sophia, you said that you may want to ask people if there's
let's make this interactive. If someone wants to share us their LinkedIn profile, we can have a look, and Ed will give you some advices on your LinkedIn profile. because
If you
we are
don't
talking
mind.
about first step optimization. So you can
First
send
step.
your LinkedIn profile on the chat and we can open it if you are not. Okay, we have
No.
some here. So you have a lot of links to choose. So go ahead and you can choose.
Okay. So I'm gonna share my profile real quick, and then I'm gonna go through a couple other people's profiles.
Okay, nice. This is exciting.
So that you can kind of see what I mean.
Okay.
So, couple things that you should add to your profile. This service provider page. This is something that people just kind of ignore. And the interesting thing about LinkedIn is once you reach the limit on like for connections, I'm going to show you there's a limit to how many people you can invite for your service profile reviews. Then they start actually helping you. They start sending people your way. When they start seeing that you're doing things that other people aren't. Most people ignore this section. Let's go into mine real quick. So I've got 3-4 services that I offer, but I do something that other people don't do. I actually have service reviews. Maybe 1 in 100 people have service reviews. But because I have these service reviews, I typically always get requests from people to a job request is what they're service requests. I get them all the time. So the first thing you want to do is make sure you fill out this section and then try to get some reviews so that you can fill that out. You can ask 20 people to do a review. Once you hit 20, I'm not quite sure what happens. We're going to find out here in a month or so.
I didn't know you can ask for reviews.
Oh yeah, you can. Almost nobody does it. Nobody does it.
This is new information for me, and it's really good because if you want, usually you go to Google, you Google the service, and you see the reviews if it's a good product or not. So it's super cool, actually.
Yeah, and I actually these are showing up in search. So people are seeing a lot of this stuff. They're very comfortable doing business with me because they see all these people that have worked with me in the past. The next part of it is, and this is something I got from another guy. His name is Tyron Giuliani, and the way he formats his profile. And so this is you can kind of look at somebody's profile at a glance, and I've got this part bolded. We've added this little icon here. If you reach out to me, I can tell you where you can get, what sites you can go to where you can do this type of stuff. And so everything is bullet pointed. Everything, there's a bullet point for everything. So people can just look at a glance. When they see about me, they can look at all the services that I have. They look at the services there. Let's go down to.
I have a question. What's the difference between the recommendations and the reviews?
So the service reviews is their way of showing people if they're looking for a specific service that you offer or somebody offers, they can go say, like just 2 days ago, somebody was referred to me. They looked at my profile, but they looked at the service reviews. They saw the services that I offer, but they saw the reviews. They were really comfortable in reaching out and doing business with me. There wasn't a sale that I didn't have to make a sale. They already sold. They just, when can we start working together was basically the conversation. So the other part of this is that you want to add, you do the same thing with the bullet points for each one of the services you offer. Notice I don't talk about the business. I pulled out the fact that I'm the co-founder of this company because what ended up happening was I get a lot of people trying to sell me stuff. They look for co-founder, owner, CEO. I don't put that on my profile anymore. So when people are looking for the profile, they're looking to have a service provider that does these services that I offer. So again, I use the bullet points. There's who's this for? What do I do? Problems we fix. Then the solutions that we have, the expectations, outcomes, a couple of testimonials. I repeat the process for each one of my my businesses, which I just, instead of naming it a business, it's a problem that we solve. Okay. Same thing here. It's all under email deliverability. But in this section, what I did is I created SEO content. So I'm getting ranked in the Google search engine and also in the LinkedIn search engine for these types of services. And then I all of this stuff is answering people's questions, common questions that they ask about sender IP, domain reputation, all of those things. So I get the double benefit of showing up more often in LinkedIn search, and people see that I have good authority in that area because I'm answering common questions that they already have. So let's take a look at somebody's profile.
Okay, just before we would like to know, the public and I, we'd like to know, how do you enable these reviews on your profile? Do you have to have a special profile, or is it a new feature from LinkedIn?
I don't know if it's part of the creator mode or not. And if you're not in creator mode, if you don't have the option to set that up in your settings, then you want to reach out to LinkedIn. I think most people have the ability to turn on creator mode. And I believe the service section is under the creator mode.
Okay, so you have to be a creator and then you will look for it on settings.
Yep.
Okay, good. Okay, let's go. Let's pick a profile.
Yeah. Okay. So I have a profile here now, and this is kind of what we typically see in profiles. So we go here. Opportunity would be to add the service section, because it's not there. You look at his about section. It's just it's short, which is good. But it's a block of text. You have a lot more information that you can provide in this section. And if you provide bullet points, people can kind of just, their eye will move to the problem they want to solve. They'll look at that bullet point. Then after they look at that, they come down to this section here. And what in this person's case, and in most people's case, they use their profile more as a resume. And we want to kind of get away from that. We want to talk about our expertise, not necessarily, we can talk about the companies we work with, but here's over, the last 2 months, this is the focus of what he's doing. So there should be a lot more content here than there is, because there's just not enough for me to make a decision. Nice thing he has is he's connected it to his business. And in the business, there is an overview here, FAQ. You can go to his website, which is all good. The thing that I would do differently with this profile is I would start filling out, the overview, the about us is fine. I would start doing some posts. I would start inviting people. He's got one person. Yeah, I'll follow you. So you got two now. I would start doing some things to draw people in this content, because if you use SEO posts, this page is going to start showing up for the search term that you want in LinkedIn. And then it'll also start showing up for the terms that you want in Google. And right now for me, what I'm going to share with you, 70% of my business came from that. But what's the shift is coming from 70% is referrals. And I'm seeing about 20%, maybe soon 30% will come from search. So it's passive in the way that I'm marketing. I'm not having to do so much work to get a client. A lot of these clients are just coming to me.
Okay.
All right. So I'm gonna have to hurry up here. We're halfway through. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps to go. So the next one is targeting. And you have to be very specific about your targeting. A lot of people will target based on, I work with dentists. And so that's what they're looking for. But that's not the best target. You want to find someone who is a dentist that actually has a problem right now that you can solve. So for me with email, it's pretty easy for me to find, and you just have to figure it out. Everybody has an opportunity to do this. For me, I want to find anyone that does subscription email or cold email and they're running into problems. One way that I can find out whether they're running into problems is they state it publicly. They're on LinkedIn, they put up a post, and somewhere in that post or a comment, they're talking about a problem that they have. Everybody does it. And now with social media, people share their problems with the world. And so you just find somebody that publicly stated they have a problem that you can solve. And then those are the people that you're going to target. You can go into Sales Navigator, you can find out all the information you need about them, and then you put them into your funnel. So number one thing, only put people into your funnel that have an active problem right now. You don't want to guess, you want to know that they actually have a problem. And if they publicly stated it, even better.
How would you know they have an active problem?
So they'll give some hint. Like I can give an example for me. Somebody will post something on LinkedIn, and this is obvious. We're having problems with our email. We're looking for somebody to help us. We're looking for somebody advice. Or does anyone have any advice on solving this problem? And so they list the problem that they have. Or somebody may say, I don't know why some of my emails are going into spam. And then they have a problem, active problem. So usually they're asking the community for help for something. And if you do a hashtag search, a lot of times you'll find plenty of those. I found an abundance of people that are asking for help for various reasons. So it's a matter of just sitting down, trying to determine what are the questions people are asking, what are the things that they're saying, which are I need help signal. And then you just, I haven't run into a situation where there is a niche where there aren't people out there publicly stating they have a problem that they need help solving. And those are the people that you want to go after.
So your first way of finding who needs a problem is by what they share on LinkedIn, right? And
Yep.
To export this to your tool would be using Sales Navigator.
Yep.
Okay.
So now I put them into a Sales Navigator a lead list, and I can move that lead list anywhere. I can move it to Walaxy is a good example. It's a good place to put them because I got to get them prepped for reaching out for my outreach. So the next part is engagement. And there's a couple of ways that you could do this, but I found the best way to do it is they're posting. So we want somebody that is active on LinkedIn, and you know they're active on LinkedIn because you saw their help wanted post that they put out there. They engage with people who have engaged with their post. So somebody writes a comment and they reply to that comment. So they know, or they like the comment. You know that they're looking at the comments from their posts and they're engaging with them. And so what you want to do is this is our first outreach to them. We're going to reach out to them, and we're going to do a pattern interrupt, and we're going to do our first magic question. So the pattern interrupt for me the first time is maybe it's an image of me with the thumbs ups. I have lots of different images with me with a hat. So I have a unique look. I have a hat, I have my thumbs up. I've got pictures of me in all different places. People usually comment on, if nothing else, they comment on the picture. And now that's what you want. You want to get into a conversation with that person. After that, I'll ask a question. So I always leave it, if I want to reach out to somebody, I always have a question at the end of every comment to engage them or encourage them to engage in that comment.
What kind
After
of
that,
question?
yeah, sure.
What kind of question do you usually put on the comments?
It'll be a question that's related to whatever the post they had. So I'm just looking for them to expand on whatever they were talking about. I'm giving them a chance to, like, any unspoken thoughts that they may have. I'm giving them a chance to kind of continue the conversation. Oh, I forgot about it. I wanted to say this thing. And now somebody asked me, that gives me the opportunity to continue what I was saying. And so because I've done that, they've recognized the photo, they've recognized the comment. The next thing I'm going to do is reach out to them and ask them if they'd be open to connect. The connection rate is over 80% if you do those two steps ahead of time. So they know who you are. You're not a stranger that's asking them to connect. You're somebody that's engaged on their post, and they're very likely to connect with you then.
Okay, wait. So you first engage on their comments, on their content, and then you get the connection, right?
Right. So I'll ask him is it okay if I send you a connection request? So they somehow engaged on my comment. They commented back. They liked the comment. They did something. They gave me some indication that I could reach out to them to connect. And then I ask them if it's okay to connect.
It's a good idea to improve your acceptance rates because you are interacting with them already and you're not connected yet, but they were like, they're like, we know each other. So they're like,
right,
accept.
exactly.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
and this is part of the reverse funnel. If they don't, if they don't reply to my comment, almost everybody does, then I realize that's not somebody I could probably work with. Move on. They've just fallen out of the funnel. If
Okay.
they don't connect, I don't keep trying. I just assume, okay, this is somebody I can work with. They fall out of the funnel. So as the people go down the funnel, they self-qualify. When they get to the bottom of the funnel, most people are willing to work with you. It's amazing how you can get someone who didn't know you to end up working with you in a very, very short period of time, like a few days. It happens. If they have a problem right now, it's pretty fast. I've had people when they put this help wanted sign out and I follow part of this process, I've gotten them locked down in contracts that average $1,000 to $2,000 a month after the first meeting, like 2 or 3 days after I posted as soon as we could meet, we had a meeting. So then in this case, we set the meeting, and prior to that, what we're going to do is we're going to compliment them one more time. We're going to send them a message with a pattern interrupt and another magic question. And this is my favorite one to do. So most people, when they're sending messages to people, it's either a sales message or maybe there's an image of an article that they wrote they're sending them to. It really is all about them. Instead, I make this first message all about the prospect. And what I try to find is a video that they've done, either a sales video or better yet, if they've done a TED Talk or some sort of public speaking, that's even better. So I take a screenshot, let's say, of a sales letter a video sales letter that they've done. And that is my image. So it's in their feed, they see a picture of themselves, which they don't see very often. So that's going to stop them to look at it. And then the next question is the pattern interrupt. And the pattern interrupt is designed to get them into more of a conversation. And then it's a common place for both of us. So I'll say to somebody that's got a video, I'll say, you look really natural in front of the camera. I was very impressed. I bet you did that in one take. Now, anyone that's done video knows that it's way more than one take to cut videos. It's
possible in one take, yes.
Yeah, no one does them. Maybe occasionally somebody will say, I did it in one take, but almost everybody is like, I wish it was one take. They just dump at that point. You ask that question and no, I wish it was one take. No, it took me an hour to create that video. There's so much editing we had to do. They just unload. And then you say, yeah, I understand what you mean. It takes me more than one take to do one. It seems like we have a lot in common. Hey, I wonder if you would be open to a short meet and greet. I think there are quite a few people in my first level that would be good prospects for you. And this is a setup question. It's really important that you ask that to set up the meet and greet, because most people won't do a meet and greet because they feel like it's going to be a sales pitch. Like this person's going to sell me something.
So you actually go in reverse. You do it the other way around. Okay.
Right. And I don't say, we were talking earlier, Sophia, me asking that question and saying, I bet there's 10 to 15 people that are first level to me that would be good prospects to you. And I'd be happy to make introductions to you. And what did you say to me when I mentioned that to you? I said,
actually, I don't know any of these people in my network. How can I introduce you to them?
Yep, that's one thing you said. You remember the other thing? What you were thinking more than what you said.
Yeah, I don't know these people.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we're going to get to that one. The other thing that people think is, I bet, do you want me to refer anybody to you?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the other question.
I don't have to ask that question, but they're thinking
like, what are you looking for in exchange? Yes.
Right. Well,
people will ask for this. It just so happens,
Sophia, that I saw one person that you're connected to directly that I would absolutely like to meet. And then you said, well, I don't know them that well. I go, that's okay. I'll introduce you to these other people and I'll show you what I did if you're interested. So the next thing that I do is I get them on a call. I learn about their business. It really is all about them. I don't mention me at all. It's all about them. And I say, hey, let's take a look in Sales Navigator and see if there's some people that are first level to me that I can introduce you to. So we go into Sales Navigator. We do the filtering. There's probably 40 people there that would be ideal prospects for them. And I say, let's pick 5. And they pick 5. Now I go back to them and say, I'll introduce you to these 5. If you can introduce me to the one person that I'm interested in, would you be willing to do that? And they always say yes to that, 5-1 in their favor. They're always happy to do it. The next thing that I want to do is I want to work my butt off to get them at least 2 people out of the 5 that will meet with them that would be really good prospects that ideally they'd get a win. They get a sale. Like my job is to help them get a sale. It's not for me to get a sale. It's for them to get a sale.
But how do you, wait, this first marketing process that we are seeing, this one is for your prospects, or this is one for the networking strategic plan?
Well, as we go down this funnel, there's 2 paths that people can take.
Okay.
They can either become a prospect or they're a strategic networking partner. And I don't care which one it is. I really don't.
And for your leads, so I understand that after engaging with them, you connect with them.
Yep.
And when do you start the sequence, like the cold email and the LinkedIn sequence of messages?
It's going to be after this process, because now we've got to a fork in the road. I'm trying to determine, is this person a prospect or are they a strategic network?
Okay, good.
So let's go down the strategic networking partnership first. And then at the end, if we have time, hopefully I'll show you how to shortcut this whole process where it is seamless, it's fast, and it's the ability to scale getting referrals, where you get to a point where referral business is pretty much all you want to do because it's just so easy to do. And I get at least 1 referral client every single week. And this is now me passively doing this process. So what we want to do is find 5 people that are a good fit for them. We want to then set up the meeting for them, connect them in such a way that we find out whether that person has a problem right now that my partner can solve. If they don't have an active problem right now, I do not want to refer them to that person because it's not going to be a quick win. They're going to have to nurture them, and I don't know whether they can do that or not. But if they get a quick win, I look good. So I go out, I get them 2 clients. So Sophia, if I got you 2 new clients because I connected
to give you 2, of course.
Yeah. Now you want to reciprocate. Let's say you didn't get me any. It didn't work. You couldn't connect with that person. It failed. And this is the heads I win, tails I win approach. So I come back to you and I ask you, did you like this? Did this work out for you? And your answer would be,
of course. I made clients.
Everybody says that. Is this something you'd like to do again?
100%. Yes.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Right. I said, I'd be happy to do it again for you. Unfortunately, I didn't get any clients. I need to be able to get clients. Can I help you? What? And then I might ask you, like, what held you up? What challenged on your end for referring me to people that you found? And then you would tell me, I didn't know these people very well, or whatever the challenge is. And I'd say to you, I didn't know these people that I referred to you either. For all of them, it was the first time I ever talked to them. Would you like it if I showed you what I did?
Yes, of course.
Of course. Yeah. All right. So now what I have is I have a strategic partner who's committed to getting me clients, is willing to learn the process that I use to get her clients. And she's going to work hard to get me at least a couple clients.
At the end, it's all about networking. So I share you my network, you share me your network, and we go further. Exactly.
Okay. And now, because we failed and Sophia is a person of her word, she's going to work hard to get me 2 clients. I actually, because we failed, I win, because now I've got access to everyone in her database is first level to her. That's a good prospect for me. And she'll go out and it happens like that every single time. I kind of want the first one to fail because I know I'm going to pick up more business on the back end. So now Sophia and I are working together this is a long-term relationship. It's usually a couple of months. But during that time, Sophia's comfortable and really knows what I do, could probably sell what I do better than I do. And so now she's got her radar open. When she hears that somebody's got an email deliverability problem or is struggling with making email profitable, she thinks Ed, and she's now referring me to people. It just happened to me yesterday where a strategic networking partner referred another person to me who had a client that had an email deliverability problem. And so he reached out to me. He said, I was somebody else, my strategic networking partner referred him to me, and he's got a client that has a problem. We talked for a couple of minutes. And now he's a strategic networking partner. He said, I've got a bunch of clients that I could refer to you. And it just feeds on itself. It's like a snowball going down the hill. You just pick up more and more clients, but you have to put in the work early on. Now, that's the strategic networking partner side. And the other part of it is the trying to sell a client. So we've gotten to the meeting part here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, or the fifth step. We've gotten to the meeting. It doesn't look like they're going to be a strategic networking partner, but they are a good prospect. Either they can buy right now, or we're going to have to nurture them. So this is where automation really comes into play. When I nurture people, first I nurture them on social media, on LinkedIn, and I'm not sending nurture messages trying to sell in my services.
How many messages do you send usually when you start contacting them on LinkedIn?
Well, I may add to the messages, but what I'll do is I'll send out a message every 14 days.
40 or 14?
14, every 2 weeks.
14, okay.
Every 2 weeks.
I was like,
and what I send is either an article that I found that I thought was interesting, or an article that I found I thought would be solve a problem that they have, or I might send them a motivational quote. The motivational quote is really just to get people to like and know and like me. They
to start nurturing them. It's
just a nurture part. All of this is nurture. Nothing is selling. I'm a resource now.
You don't send anything related to your business, not even an article from your website or your blog.
Nope. I don't want to be perceived as selling anything. And then what I'll ask is, in another message, did you find what I'm sending you? And I tell them, would you mind if I send you something? If I come across something every once in a while that I think would benefit you, do you mind if I send it to you in Messenger? And they say yes.
And what happens? This is a question from Dewey. How do you adapt your messaging when you know the prospect has an immediate problem that you can solve? So you said that you find the prospects related to what they share on LinkedIn. So if they are like, I need this now, do you have any other kind of approach?
Yep. And that happens 2 different times. It happens in that meeting where we're just talking about them. And this is where you're going to be, we call it pendulum theory, but we're going to be either overly positive or overly negative. And what ends up happening is, if I'm overly positive about something, they'll swing around to be, well, it's not quite as good as that. So I'll say something like, I'll use a generic phrase, and I used to use this all the time. For local businesses, if it was a cold call, I would say something like, I bet you're making so much money the Brinks truck comes by twice a day to take all the money at the bank. It's over the top positive. And so what are they going to say? Oh, no, it's even better than that. Nobody says that because it's not that good. What they do is they tell you, well, no, it's not quite that good. And so the next question I ask is, well, what do you mean? And then by asking that follow-up question, then they start telling me problems that they have.
And then you go and offer your product.
But I'm careful. I don't want to jump in too fast. So I'll do,
you go smoothly.
I try to be as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
I say, I have something that may help. It's something I actually sell for $200, but I'll give it to you for free, is a checklist. So you
Wait.
gotta have something for them to do. You're gonna assign
You give
homework
it
for
for
them.
free? Okay,
Yep.
because yeah, it's the same as
I gotta
what are you
prove that I
looking
sell
for?
it for free for $200. I gotta point them to the sales page, and they'll see, okay, yeah, it's $200. I'm not making it up, because I'm giving them something of value. I'll say, just go through this, and I think it'll solve your problem. And do you mind if I follow up to see how it was going? And everybody says yes to that. So what I've done is I've given them something of value. So like, reciprocity comes into play. I asked them if I could follow up. The follow-up is important because now I get to sell them on the follow-up. I give them homework that I'm pretty certain they can't complete. Although they find it valuable, it seems overwhelming. So when I follow up with them, they go, yeah, this is great. Boy, this is way more work than I can do. Could you do this for me?
Okay.
Happens all the time. If they can afford it, I don't have to sell them. They say, could you do this for me? And I think I can. I haven't sold anything. I haven't really pitched anything yet, but I'm
then you
making
have the
sales.
meeting, right? That's
then
when
we
you
have the meeting.
Okay.
At that point, they have the second meeting, and that is the sales meeting, and it's all, the deal is already closed.
Wait, when you talk about meeting, is it like a Zoom call?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Is it like a Zoom, like a meeting online, or is it, how
Yeah,
do you
Zoom.
get from,
It's
and
Zoom.
how do you get from the connection to the meeting? Because Martin is asking about it, but
Yeah.
I didn't get when exactly you get the first meeting.
Okay, the first meeting happens after the second pattern interrupt and magic question. So you're doing this flattering thing for them. You're creating an opportunity for a conversation. And so they're feeling pretty good. And you say something like, seems like we have a lot in common, love to connect with you. And then you give them a benefit. I bet I have a lot. I bet I have 10, 20, 30 first level connections that would all be good prospects for you. I'd be happy to make introductions. That's irresistible.
Okay, I get it now. So you get, you flatter them, then you get, like, we have a lot of common, and then you will choose if they will be a strategic networking partner or a lead.
Yep.
Okay, good.
Yep. So now I've decided which bucket they fall in. If they're a prospect, we're going to go down the road of giving them homework, knowing full well that they're probably not going to complete the homework, but they like the process and they need help. I haven't had to sell them anything. They ask for help. I'm just there to help them. And we're working together. If they're not at the point where they have a problem, I've said something like over the top positive, and that's not a problem for them. But I know that because they're in the industry of people that I work with clients, and eventually they will have a problem, I put them in the nurture sequence. So the nurture is messages first, nothing to do with my business. I can point to my profile. I may say I just added something to my profile, but after I've sent them, say, 4 messages, then I ask for a favor. I ask them first, are these things what I'm sending you valuable? Should I keep sending you stuff, or am I wasting your time? No, this has been great. Keep going. Then I ask them for a favor.
Okay.
And the favor may be something simple, like I just added something to my profile. I just wrote this article. I'd love to get your opinion on it. But that is a pre-sale article or a pre-sale addition to my profile that I'm setting the frame to get them to buy something from me. And I want to get their feedback. And I tell them, I want to get your feedback on this. I want to get your feedback on this article. They look at the article, it resonates with them, and then we are into a conversation about solving a problem that they have. They've told me that they've got this problem. And again, I'm not selling them anything. It never feels like sales, because I want to maintain the fact that A, they look at me as authority, B, they get to know me because I've been sending them messages, and C, most importantly, they like me, because they're never going to do business with me if they don't like me. So we do that, and then we roll in, and this is where automation with Walaxy will come in. we put them on that path. If they're still not ready to buy, but I think they're a good prospect, we're going to add email on top of that. So you mind if I send you an email every once in a while? They're already happy with the messages. They almost always say they're happy for the email, and then I can dump them into automation for the email. So at some point, they'll be ready to buy, and then we have a meeting because of the messages coming in. And that's where all the final step is the emails come in, they take an action that indicates there's interest. We start that process again with setting up a meeting, either assigning homework to them or going directly to a sale.
Okay, and how can I automate all these with Galaxy from the beginning? Because people is asking, I think from my side, what I think we can do is, okay, we can import all those leads from Sales Navigator to different, you can divide your lists into people who share different content, and then you can send automated connections to them. After and then you will do some manual work, and then you will use Galaxy again to nurture them. Is this right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So what's the closing ratio on some of these steps? So the welcome video tactic, which I'm welcoming them as a new connection. And I'm telling them that it's the first time I'm going to tell them this, I probably have some first level connections that would be good prospects for you. I'd be happy to make introductions. And then when you do the book a meeting thing, about 20 to 30% of those people will book the meeting. And sometimes it's a lot higher than that. The pattern interrupt tactic then also leads to a 20, 30% meeting schedule rate. The nurture message sequence leads 30 to 40% of the time, and the reason being is because now they're getting to know you, they feel comfortable with you, they trust you, they're beginning to like you. So the odds of them meeting you goes up. The email, and that's where you're going to most likely get the client. And then when you go into the email sequence, it's going to take a little bit longer. And the percentage goes down a little bit. So following those steps, and I realize there's quite a few steps, the closing ratio is much higher, but there's a lot less time. And frankly, I went from 60 hours a week of working down to 25 hours a week of working, and I got better clients. If you're selling a service, you don't need 5 new clients a week. 5 new clients a week will probably put you out of business. But if you get 1, maybe 2 a week, that's all you need. And you do that by being more targeted in the people that you're reaching and developing strong relationships with them.
I have a question. So you use multi-channel strategies, but not together, right? You use LinkedIn sequences and email sequences. Do you have any template, or do you use LinkedIn and email at the same time? Or
I start off with LinkedIn, and email only comes into play when I can't get the sale early on. So if they're, and even I'll do a nurture sequence with the strategic networking partner just so that I remain top of mind with them. So when they run into somebody, they're already thinking email problems. This person has email problems. I'll introduce them to Ed. So in that regard, the email sequence both nurtures the people that didn't buy early on, like say in the first month, and those people that are strategic networking partners that are constantly feeding me new clients. And now most of my appointments come off of a strategic networking partner connecting me to someone that they know that's first level to them.
Okay. I will just comment on something. This is not a Galaxy demo. So if you want to, I will be able, and I will do a Galaxy demo for you, but please join the community and I'll do a live with you next week or next month about Galaxy, okay? But this is not a Galaxy presentation. This is just like cold email LinkedIn strategy. Okay? So yeah, sorry, I'd continue.
So one of the things, and I've had both clients follow this process and do well. I've had some clients that kind of got bogged down because of the steps and wanted to just skip ahead. And so what I did, because I realized that 70% of my business was coming from referrals, is I looked at the referral part of the process and then just shrunk it. And I shrunk it down to just a handful of steps. So the first step is it always starts with finding a good prospect that you can reach out to. And it's second level, first level, it doesn't matter who it is. You're looking for someone that has a problem that you can solve. Then the next thing you do is in Sales Navigator, they will show you people you're connected to, someone who can connect you to that person or someone who knows that person. So then I reach out to them directly, right? And I pitch them on the whole concept of being a strategic networking partner. Everybody says yes to that. I mean, why wouldn't they? I'm going to give them introduce them to 5 people that would be ideal prospects for them. And so we have the meeting. We do the research step, meaning we look at each other's Sales Navigator. We hand pick out the profiles that we want to work with. And then we do the introduction part. Just like I mentioned to you before, my job is to get the partner 2 wins as fast as I can. And once I do that, everything just falls into place.
And you go automatically. Yeah, you start selling with both funnels, the leads funnel and the strategic networking partner. Okay, nice.
So the networking partner then actually fills my funnel for me. I don't have to do it. And it's a lot easier if you're objection averse. This process is pretty much rejection free. Almost everybody's going to say yes to being a partner. Right? Almost everybody's going to say it. And it's a lot less pressure on me if I'm trying to find business for you, because it's not personal. If I fail, I don't feel bad. I want to, I'll do the best job I can, but there's not as much pressure on me to do that. But once I do it, then you're in. You're like, I got to help Ed.
And I guess with this strategic networking partner, you start getting visits to your profile. So
then you could put them in a Walaxy and follow up and there's
and you get
cycles all over the place. Yeah.
Okay.
And the nice thing about these networking meetings is that they're very comfortable when you start off. People that you've gotten from referrals stick a lot longer. They're far more forgiving because there's this common person you're connected to.
Totally,
you don't want to let down that person who referred you that business. You want to do a good job for the person that they referred you to. And likely you don't really think of it this way, but the person that's the client doesn't want to let down the referral source either by cutting you loose early, first sign of a problem. Where if you reach out to them cold, the relationship's kind of on shaky ground until you prove yourself. You have a lot more leeway if you've been referred on. Like the average agency client sticks around for just over 2 months, right? And that's the average. Referral clients will stick around for years, and they'll refer more people to you because that's how they met you, through a referral. So they're looking to refer more business to you. They're just way more valuable.
It's all about networking at the end. So
it is.
And word of mouth, so it's good.
It's exactly what LinkedIn was built for.
So people is asking if you can share again the 6 steps because they didn't get to see it. So maybe we can do a sum up of the 6 steps. And when can you start? Just like a quick review.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll happy to show you that. So these are the 6 steps. There's also, if you want to reach out to me on LinkedIn, there's also another handout that shows, it's the hand drawn out, shows you the exact 6 steps. And if you'd like to talk about the strategic networking partnership, reach out to me there. And just go to my LinkedIn profile, Ed Forteau, ED-FORTEAU. So LinkedIn /Ed Forteau. And you'll find me there if you do a search there. And just reach out to me either in a message or a comment. And in the message or comment, just put SNP, S for Strategic Networking Partner. So I know, I know what they're asking. And then I'll know where you came from. So just put that in the comment or on a recent post, or send me a message and I'll know who you are and what I need to do.
So just to sum up, we optimize the profile, we look for our clients or lead source strategic planning networking partners using Sales Navigator or hashtags on LinkedIn. We start engaging with their content, we connect, and this part can be done with Wallaxy or manually. You can import your leads to Wallaxy and then send them a connection request. Would you send a connection request with a note? No note, because you already started sharing content. What do you do normally?
Yeah, well, the areas where you can use Wallaxy is if people have visited your profile, so you can put them in a sequence there. Once they are connected and you're sending them a nurture sequence, so maybe you've already met with them and now you're saying, hey, do you mind if I follow up with you? That way it's implied that it's automation. I don't like using automation unless the person knows for a fact that I'm sending them automation. Okay. And so that implies it. So that's a really good place to use Wallaxy. And then once you've moved to email, you ask them, hey, do you mind if I put you on and if I follow up with you by email? Yes, easy. It's an implied opt-in. And in both cases, because you have an applied opt-in, you've asked them if it's okay, your open rates are going to be much higher, 2-3 times higher if you don't ask.
And you stop being a spammer and you get, of course.
Yeah, they like you. They're much more likely to do business with you.
At the end, you are using automation, but we are all humans. And I think one of the most important things is to be on the shoes of the other person and be like, would I like to receive this message? Would I read it? Will I reply to this? I think this is one of the most important things to do. Well, and I think people is having questions, so I can read them for you. Wait, do you have anything else to share?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the comments here.
Yes.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. Quite a few people have.
They already added you on LinkedIn.
Yeah, hey, you send me a LinkedIn connection request and I'll accept it.
Okay, so about the replay, I will send you the replay, of course. Can you please show me the slides? Well, we already shared the slides. Very interesting, so thank you. Okay, how much businesses you get from this SEO tactic?
That's a good question. Right now, it's about 30% of 20% of our business is coming from that. And we're adding way more articles because we saw that, for example, 2 keyword phrases, because I used to do a lot of SEO. There were 2 keyword phrases that we can rank probably in the top 3 for fairly easily by using SEO on LinkedIn. And a thing that I don't see people doing this very much on LinkedIn, but because LinkedIn is an authority site, if you write a good SEO quality article, and if you have to, throw some links at it, but most of the time you don't have to. Just a good quality article is enough. It takes some time, maybe a week before the search engines pick it up and index it. You'll see a lot of articles that are ranked number 1 or number 2 or number 3 on LinkedIn, and then people go straight from LinkedIn, from Google to your LinkedIn page, the article, they look at your profile and your website, and that's where a lot of my appointments come from. I go, how do you find me? I don't put my appointment link on my LinkedIn profile. There's no number. There's like, how'd you book an appointment? Well, they went through that process, got to my website. Almost every single one of them, it's a done deal. If they went through all of that to get to me, it's
because they are interested.
Yeah, they're in. And it started with
everything
SEO.
Should be well connected. That you have to remember that it should be like this, so they can get to you whatever they click, right?
Yep. And I don't want to talk to everybody. I really don't. A lot of people will meet with anyone who's willing to meet with them. I only want to talk to people that I'm pretty sure is a good prospect, that has the money and has a problem, or there's just a strategic networking partner who can introduce me to people that have a problem that can afford my solution. Anyone else, I don't want to talk to.
Okay, I love the strategic partner networking. I think it's really good. Like that's what LinkedIn is about.
Not to be
So,
rude to people, but we're looking to do business.
of course.
I'm always friendly to everybody, but I'm there to do business.
Okay, so I think you already answered this, but let's go and answer this again. For how long do you nurture your leads before start selling to them? How many
I wait
messages?
for a trigger. I don't start selling until they've given me some indication that they're looking to buy. So it's you nurture them until they give you an indication. They've gone to an article that you've written that's a setup. It's framing. Here's its problem solution, and it resonated with them, and they commented on it. They've given me a clear indication that I can sell this person. Unless I have a clear signal that I can sell them, I just nurture them until they tell me.
And you do it, the delay you were talking about was every 2 weeks, right?
Every 2 weeks for messages.
Nurture them with, yes, okay. Yep. How did you get your URL under your name on LinkedIn? Okay, you can edit this on the settings of your profile on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah. Yes. And I think I was one of the early people using LinkedIn, so it was easy. Now, if you have a common name, it's a little hard. So you have to add other characters like numbers, and sometimes for some people more than one, like 3 or 4 or 5 different numbers in there, or your first.
Well, you can be creative and add a little bit of your business, and yeah, like mine is Sophia Walaxy or something like that.
Yep. Yes. Yeah, it's got to be somewhat unique now.
So someone is asking about, can you make the magic question from the beginning in order for your prospect to discover that they do have a problem?
Yeah, well, the magic question isn't designed to identify a problem. It's designed to engage them in conversation. So when we have a meeting with them, if we want to identify a problem, then we go to, it's called pendulum theory. So 3 o'clock would be positive, 9 o'clock would be negative. And the pendulum just swings back and forth. In any sales situation, that's what happens. So what you want to do is you want to get on either side of the positive or negative. So if they're being negative, then you want to go like more negative than they are. You want to go more to 9 o'clock. If they're being positive, you want to be more positive, and you want to be at 3 o'clock. So I'll give you an example. If in my world of email, so somebody will say, "Oh, I have really good open rates." Okay, I don't know what good in their mind is. So I'll say, "Oh, I bet you get 80, 90% open rates." Well, nobody gets 80, not consistently. No one gets 80 to 90% open rates. No, not that good. So, well, how good? And they'll say, well, 25. That's pretty good. It's better than average. It's about, 20% is about average. You're doing better than that. You could do a lot better, I think. Would you like to know how? So I could go that route, but I'm not going to sell them there. I'm going to send them something that shows them how to improve their open rates. I'm going to give them homework. And that's when
they will be like, no way I will do it. Please do it for me.
Exactly. I'm going to give them so much homework, it overloads them. They go, I don't want to do all this, but sure, I sure would like to get open rates that are 10 to 20% higher. But in their case, I would say, well, if you got open rates around 35%, which is only 10% higher, how much more money would you make? And we calculate it out. Oh, I'd make $10,000 more a month. Now there's a real incentive for them to do the homework, because it's $10,000 a month more income. But I know even with that amount of incentive, they're not going to do the homework. I know they're not going to do it. And they're going to come back to me and say, I want this result. I just don't have the time to do it. Can you do it for me?
And then boom.
Boom, it's a sale. I taught sales training for 12 years. I learned, I don't know if you ever heard of the Sandler selling system, David Sandler. But for 12 years, I worked with, well, not with him, but I worked with one of the original franchisees for Sandler. So all these psychological sales things, manipulation that you can do, I used to be really good at it. Now I don't use any of it, But I know, like, if I'm giving somebody homework psychologically, I know, like, they're not going to do this.
You need a little bit of psychology.
See,
for,
you do need,
yes.
but there's not a lot of manipulation. No, there's no manipulation. It was ethical manipulation, but I don't do any of that now. It's
okay, good.
People sell themselves. Why get in the way? Let them buy. They want to buy stuff. Let them do it.
Okay, we have another question. Okay, is it possible to find who are the followers for another company? Yes, there's an article on Galaxy. You can post it on the community and I'll share it, or you can ask on the chat support. We have a tutorial for this. What do you recommend for brand new beginners in business who have a service but not real experience delivering those services? How should we build our profile?
Well, the best profiles have testimonials and case studies. If you don't have if you don't have either one of those, you want to try to get those. And if you don't have any of those, then and you can't get them, then you want to talk about the experience that you have done. And you don't want to necessarily do it in terms of a resume format. Go back to my profile, take a look at it, look at how I did the bullet points. There's some services that I'm going to add. I'll follow the same process. I don't have a lot of experience in them other than what I did for myself, but I can position it in such a way that based on my own personal experience, it looks like I have a lot of experience doing those things. So
actually, you could look for experience before, like building. You can build your profile and ask for experience using LinkedIn. Like you
oh yeah, and you can
better
do
than not putting the real experience of the services.
Yeah, you don't want to lie or exaggerate. One of the things you can do also is case studies. Ask as someone who's open to do a case study with you. So you end up giving away your service and doing it at a discount, but then you're able to do a case study. One of our early case studies, when we were doing email deliverability, was one that we discounted because there was a good result for it. And I said, would you mind if I use this as a case study? Wasn't real happy about his name being out there. I go, okay, I'll strip out your name, won't mention your name at all. Can I just talk about the result? And we can talk specifically about your problem, solution, result, but I won't mention you at all. And that was fine. Even in that business, if we did that for free, it would have been worth its weight in gold. That one case study has probably been worth $150,000 to us. So if somebody's interested in looking at that case study, I'll happily show them the video. But it's a really good format to use for a case study, especially if the person wants to remain anonymous.
Okay, this is interesting. Yes, you can show it to us. If you would like to see it.
Yeah, I can. What I'll do.
And I will just read two more questions before. How do you design the video you send on the message and the welcome video you send? So do you have, I wanted to ask you for tool recommendations also before we head to the other for the case study. Do you have any tool recommendations? I know you have. So would you mind sharing us a little bit of your tool recommendations?
Okay, I gapped out there with the, so I know I've got the case study, but what was the other? I'm sorry, what was it you were asking me?
They are asking about how do you design the video and the video message and the video.
Short-term memory problems. It's an age-related thing. Okay. Use your, where's my phone? So on LinkedIn, I got this from a business partner who got it from somebody else, actually. On LinkedIn, on the phone app, you can do a video. So what you want to do is you want to hold the camera up to yourself like this, I think, or maybe it's this way. Can't remember which direction until I'm doing it. So you're looking at the camera, and then you're pointing over your shoulder to your profile link. So you're going to say, if you'd like to see my profile, you can just click on it over there. So you're getting them to go over there. It's only a 30-second video. You just want to thank them. You want to point to your profile, but then the most important thing you want to do, and it seems selfless, but this is what closes business. I'm sure that there are many people, 10, 20 people that are first level to me that would be perfect customers, prospects, clients for you. I'd be happy to make personal introductions if you're interested. That's the most important thing you can do. It's got nothing with selling your business at all, but it's of high interest to that person. And a lot of people will take you up on that offer.
So people have greeted you like, hey, I'm interested in you introducing me to people.
Right.
After watching your video.
And the ones that you want to work with are thinking exactly like you were, like, oh, what do you want out of it? I'd be happy to introduce you to any one of my first level connections too. That's what they're thinking. You don't have to say it. If
it's implied, yes.
It is, it's totally implied. And if they don't want to do it, that's not somebody you want to partner with. You want to find people who are willing to reciprocate. Business is not that, it's way easier than most people think to get business, especially leveraging LinkedIn. It's way easier. There's no reason to make it hard.
Thank you. So if you would do email cold outreach approach, do you think 4 emails without reply from a prospect should make you leave this prospect and go for another? After how many emails with no reply would you be like, okay, I'll leave this for later or for never?
I don't like to have a short-term process. I want to figure out whether I'm asking them in the message sequence, are you finding this valuable? So I will check in. Are you finding this valuable? Should I keep sending it to you? And if they say yes, then I turn it off. I need to hear something from them. Okay. I need to know that they're looking at the stuff and I should keep on. With email, I leave people on my email until they haven't opened for 60 days. If they've gone 60 days and they haven't opened, I'm going to try one reactivation email. If they don't reactivate, I suppress them, because if they're not opening emails, it's hurting my email deliverability. And so emails of people who want to hear from me aren't getting those emails because of the people who don't want to get them. So that's when I kick them off.
Okay.
It really is all about like where they are. What action are they taking? If they're not taking any action, then I remove them. They're clearly not interested.
Okay. I have an announcement for Galaxy. If you're using Galaxy, you can blacklist them. You create a list, name it blacklist, and send them to this list. So you will be able to avoid contacting them again. Because or you will tag them and you will be like, okay, they didn't answer. I'll reach to them in next year if you want. But just to avoid contacting them again and putting them in other campaigns, you can blacklist them. Okay. Any other question? I think we have questions here. Okay, these are questions for Galaxy, so I will leave it for later for the chat support. Okay, I think that's it. Wait, I had other questions here. So after how long would you start noticing results with these 2 strategies? Because people think it's like in 1 week I need to start selling, and sometimes you need to wait and nurture them. So after how long would you start noticing results?
Yeah, the funny thing is, I get more results faster with the strategic networking partnership process. And you would think it would be longer, but actually it's not. If I'm looking at 1 week cycle, I'm being introduced to the right person. It's a fast sale when I have that meeting. We're there to do business. They know why we're talking. They have a problem. They see me as a solution. It's just a matter of, do we like one another? Happens just like that. The other process, you're going to get some people that have a problem, you can solve it, but we're not trying to sell them right away. It's still a week, 2 weeks out. But the difference between that and trying to close somebody right away, because I used to pride myself in a one call close, $2,000 a month, never met you before. We've never talked before. First time talking, and $2,000 you're sending to me by the end of the conversation. I love doing that. That was my thing. What I found was if I take a little bit more time to get the person to see me as an authority, like this guy is the guy who can fix my problem. They get to know me a little bit, so they're comfortable with me. And more important than anything else, they like me. Then not only do they stick with me longer, and if there's problems, whether I cause a problem, they cause a problem, or there's some third party cause a problem, they're not coming back and blaming me. They're working with me to resolve the problem. They're not saying, Ed, this isn't working. Like this whole relationship doesn't work. It's not that. It's like, we're in a relationship. We have a problem. Let's fix it. And so they stick with me longer. I don't ever have to worry at night whether I'm going to lose a client because there's a problem. I never worry about that. I know agencies are constantly worried that they're going to lose clients. I never have concern about that. And they will refer other businesses to you. And you don't typically get that when you're closing somebody on a one call or closing them fast. So I'm willing to wait a couple of weeks to get one closed.
Okay, thank you.
Everybody should be just it's when you get out of this mindset of I got to get business today, I need fast money. When you can divorce yourself of that, you'll see you'll make a lot more money and you'll sleep better at night because the clients stick. They're not going anywhere. The retention rate will go through the roof.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to add something else? Maybe share us just a little bit of best practices when doing automation or... Wait, there's someone raising their hand. I've never done this, but okay, wait, where is it?
Oh, pattern interrupt. I see that. That's something that's different than what you would normally see. And this typically, the best place to do a pattern interrupt is in someone's message. If you look at your messages, I'll look at mine, and I'll see this wall of text. It's one message after another after another. It's just text, and it's the same thing. Would you like to meet for 15 minutes? Would you like to meet for 30 minutes? Here's the things that we do. Here's the problems that we solve. They'll assume I have the problem, whether they know it or not. I've even had one person want me to come on and speak at one of their events, and it's a women's event. And I'm like, I'm a dude. I don't know how that's going to work. But and that's because the automation has gotten out of control. They didn't even bother to look to see what my gender was. So you don't want to overdo automation. And you want to be patient. If you're patient, things change for me when I stopped chasing fast money, when I was willing to have a sales cycle that might be 2 weeks, 4 weeks. A 4-week sales cycle, I still got business that came in within days. But it is really all about the relationship. If you don't have a good relationship, if they don't like you, they're not going to do business with you fast.
Totally, that's true. Well, Gabe is asking for the replay. You will have it on YouTube. You will receive an email on the email you register, and it's already in the Facebook group, Wallians. Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think I answered the pattern interrupt. I went off on a tangent. That's just something that's different. So I mentioned the constant asks. What you want to do is you throw up something that they would not see. And what they wouldn't normally see is like a TED Talk, an image of a TED Talk that they did 5 years ago. And I'm looking for something that is not recent. I'm looking for something that they did a while ago that nobody is talking about. And they, oh yeah, I remember that. They see their picture, and then you ask them a question that is obvious. Like I love the question of, I bet you did that in one take, because I know what they're going to say. You want to ask a question, you know the answer before you even ask it, and then you can create some conversation from there. And that's all about getting people to like you. It's not about closing business yet. As soon as once they like you, then you're gonna have all the time in the world to get some business.
Okay, at the end, it's creating relationships.
It is. We've gone way, way over. I'm so sorry.
Don't worry. Okay, so anyone has any other question before we let Ed go? I think that's it. Okay, just as a reminder, you can follow Ed on LinkedIn. You can follow our YouTube channel. Look for Walaxy on YouTube. I will send you the replay, and you can join our community on Facebook. You can just look for Walliens, WAALIENS, and you will find the French and International program group. Does he have a program? Do you have a program? Do you have any
Well, I
channel
don't.
that we can
Interestingly enough, I do teach this one-on-one, and it's way more affordable than people know. And the way I determine whether I teach it to you one-on-one or not is, one, if you could be a strategic partner, and usually I have to have reached out to you. It's me finding you. Then I teach it for free. If you're reaching out to me, then I show you how to do it. But you'll see what I actually, it doesn't cost you really anything, because I actually try to find you 2 clients. That's my job. I'm going to find you 2 clients. But in return, I'm asking for you to do the same for me. So it's one of the few things that pay for itself, and the cost is way less than you would think.
I think it's a great strategy. Okay, so can you repeat your LinkedIn one more time, just in case they didn't get it? I will share it on the replay too, if you want.
So that'd be great. That'd be great. In fact, I don't know why I didn't think of this. I could just put it here in the,
change your...
I should have done that as a link, but it's Ed Forteau is after LinkedIn.com/n/Ed Forteau. I'll put it here in the comments.
Okay, wait, I'm going to put also the...
And I'll be happy to share with you that case study too there. Just reach out to me, and it's a good format to follow. It's made us a lot of business. I should be using it more, quite frankly.
Okay, here is the Facebook group. Thank you very much all for joining us today. Thank you, Ed, and have a good afternoon. Once I end up this, we won't be able to reach out again, but I will text you. I will write you an email, okay, at the end of this.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much. It's been great.
Thank you, everyone, and see you in another episode.
Take care.
Bye. Have a nice day.